video for you, and it is all about back to school preparation. And basically I'm just going to give you a few tips for when you are going back to school. And I know you don't want to see these videos in your subscription box yet, but a lot of people do go back in August. I don't go back till September, but I know that there are a lot of people that go back to school in August. So I wanted to get this video up for those people so that they don't miss out on it. So I'm so sorry, but I hope you guys don't mind anyway. I'm going to be a senior this year, so this is kind of out of experience, I guess, these tips. That's where it's coming from. I've been in school for a while, so I kind of have the hang of back to school by now, and I thought this would be really helpful for people that are entering into high school or anyone, no matter what, when they're going back to school. And this is mostly kind of elementary and high school, not necessarily college, but kind of in a sense that some of the tips will also apply. So tip number 1 is that you are going to want to kind of adjust the time that you are going to bed and waking up. And I would recommend doing this about a week to a week and a half before school starts. So basically what I mean is if you have been going to bed at 3 o'clock every night and waking up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, then you're really going to have to switch that. I know you guys want to sleep, you want your beauty rest, but you really are going to have to try to get back on schedule, meaning going to bed at, say, 11, which is normally what time I go to bed, and then waking up at, say, 7 or something. Just try to get back on schedule and do it gradually. Don't all of a sudden just do 11 to 7. Try doing, 2 o'clock to 12 o'clock and then 1 o'clock to whatever. So just keep going like that, and it'll really help, and you won't end up being super tired on that first day or that first week of school. Tip number 2 kind of goes along with that as well. Basically, you want to kind of alter your eating habits, because I know, at least for me in the summer, I am definitely sleeping in later, which means that my breakfast gets pushed back and my lunch also gets pushed back. So I'm usually eating breakfast at like 11:30 when I would normally be eating lunch at that time. So try to put your eating schedule kind of back on track, and it'll just help you a lot once you get back into the rhythm of school. Number 3 is a tip that everyone knows, but some people just ignore. And I think it's really, really important to be on top of your summer reading, and I know that it's such a hassle, at least for my school. Last year I had 7 books to read, and then I had other assignments like packets and papers. So I know it can be really, really hectic, but all you have to do is stay on top of your stuff and just make sure you're not leaving it all for the week before school, because that would just be really, really hectic. Plus, I know that you guys would never ever not do an assignment, but just make sure you have everything done in a really kind of orderly time, because you don't want to be worrying about it that first week of school. Tip number 4 is figure out who is going to be in your class for the following year that's coming up. So my school actually doesn't give out rosters at the end of the school year, so you don't know who you're going to be in class with for that next year, and it's really annoying actually, but it also kind of gives an excitement to the first day of school, because then when you walk into school you're not like, oh yeah, I already know all my classes, this is gonna stink. You're kind of really excited to see who's in your class and whatnot. But if you are lucky enough to get the roster earlier, then what I recommend is kind of, I guess, going on Facebook and just writing out your schedule and seeing what classes kind of overlap with your friends or something. Just compare them to your friends so that you know who to expect in your class when you walk in that day. And if you like surprises, then don't do this, but I think it would be really cool to figure out who would be in your classes beforehand. So that's just my opinion, and that's definitely something you could look into if you get your rosters early. And also try to figure out what your schedule is going to be for, the weekdays during the school year. See if you have extracurriculars, sports, something like that. Just try to figure out your whole schedule so that it's not really hectic when you begin actually getting into it. Next is pick up some sort of tote bag or backpack or something along those lines, because you're definitely going to want a bag when you get into school, either to carry your books to and from classes or to carry your books from school to your house. So just make sure you have some sort of bag. And I use a JanSport backpack to carry to and from school, and I really like it. It's really easy, it fits a lot of stuff, so that definitely works for me. But any type of backpack or tote that works for you, I recommend getting one. Next, make sure you hit up the back to school sales and all the good stuff when you're buying clothes, because I know if I actually wear a uniform to school, so this doesn't really apply to me, but I would definitely want some cute new pieces for school, whether it's just like a pair of jeans or something. Just make sure you hit up the sales section, because there's probably a ton of sales for back to school. And for those of you who do wear a uniform like I do, I recommend just making sure you have everything, whether it's like stockings or your skirt or something. Just make sure you have enough of whatever you need, because the school store is always so crowded when you're going to pick up your uniform. So if you pick it up, say mid-August or early August, you won't hit that much traffic or whatever when you're in there, which is great because I feel like those stores are always so small and I feel like claustrophobic, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just want a uniform. Next is to get your school supplies. So that's pretty obvious. Just go to Staples or wherever you shop for school supplies and pick up your zipper cases, binders, pens and pencils. And I also really recommend just using stuff from last year, because that's what I've been doing, and I find that I'm saving a lot of money with school supplies in that area. So if you go through your backpack from last year and see what you can use again, that would be probably really helpful and nice for your wallet. The next thing is really just your preference, but I always do this before the school year, but I'm probably not going to this year, but I always get a haircut before school starts just so it's really fresh and not dead or whatever. It's looking good, and I find that it just kind of, I don't know, makes me feel ready for school, if that makes sense. But I've been doing that since I was little, and my sisters and I are always really excited to get our back to school haircuts. Next, you really want to make sure you order any books that you need online before the school year starts. Make sure you order them at least 2 weeks in advance, because I know at least at my school, there will be a lot of people on that first day that are like, oh, I don't have, you know, the book that I need or whatever, but I'm usually always have it, and I'm usually prepared because I do order them earlier, and I also laminate them and put book stocks on them or brown paper pretty much before the school year starts. I find that I have literally no time once the school year starts, so especially that first week of school, it's crazy. So to have everything laminated and ready to go is really helpful. The next thing is to pick up either like a lunch bag or a lunch box. I actually don't pack my lunch every day, but when I do, I use the brown paper bags, so make sure you have some of them, or ask your mom to pick them up, whatever you know you need for lunch at school. If you buy your lunch at school, then you don't really have to worry about this, but I do for the most part, but sometimes I do like to pack something, so just make sure you have a lunch box or whatever you use. And also, I think it's really neat to kind of have like a water bottle or like an eco-friendly thing, because at my school, you're allowed to carry around like a water bottle in your tote. You're not allowed to drink it in every class, but you're allowed to have it in your bag. So I like having like an eco-friendly one, so I don't have to keep using plastic water bottles every day, because I know that's really damaging for the environment, and I just kind of like to have like the same thing every day, and I just fill it before I go to school. So having a little bottle for your water or your tea, whatever you drink before school, that would be really helpful for when you get the school year going. And finally, the last thing is make sure you have some stuff for inside your locker, whether it's a little locker shelf or a little locker mirror, whatever. I hang a mini disco ball in my locker, and it doesn't glow up or anything, but it's like sparkly, and I hang it from the top, and it's just like a party in my locker. And also I like to put pictures up and with those magnets and stuff, so just have some stuff for your locker if you like to decorate it a little bit. I mean, I don't go too crazy with my locker, but I know some people really like having their locker decked out. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really hope it comes in handy for when you're preparing for school. Now, I wanted to do this video first in my back to school series because I figured this would be the most important to get out early so people can actually start preparing and using the tips that I gave them, but I will also do some more. So if you have any other back to school videos you want to see, just leave it in the comments below, and I hope you guys have a great day, and after this video, just stop thinking about school. Shh.